Board Member Warner, yeah. What's that? Linda, are you still on? Are you muted?
Yes, I'm back.
Oh, you are back.
I'm back. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Warner is out. She's actually up on a safety thing. She'll be back sometime around noon, so we'll hold on that. So I think I'm thinking I know that Vice Chair Ellis will be leaving us soon, so maybe let's just go to that audit report. I appreciate your patience of bouncing around the agenda.
Okay, well, that's fine. It's after lunch at 2 o'clock.
We are on 15, which was clear back here.
Thank you. I just wanted to welcome Director Davis to the table. She's our director over audit, the audit department. This month's audit committee, we didn't have any specific action for the board. There was a recommendation to bring a rule back to a committee, which will be in law and licensing, but as far as anything to the general board, there wasn't. But one of the items that we discussed and have been continuing to discuss is a communication plan. There's a lot of confusion, and so I've asked Director Davis to come to the table and share a little bit about what was discussed and what we're doing to improve communication.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on. So Debbie Davis, Director of Internal Audit, and I appreciate the introduction. And we are very excited about the direction we're going with a communications plan, policy, and procedure, always looking to continuously improve. And we did get some great feedback from the audit committee and the superintendency. And also the superintendent had suggested that internal audit go visit with the Access Advisory Council. And so we had some great feedback from them as well. So some of the things that we're looking at will be some updates to our webpage, maybe including a how are we doing, so that at any point in time someone could go on there and give us feedback, and that could be ongoing, current all the time. We're looking at some one-page white papers on internal audit, on the hotline, things that could be translated into other languages so that there's access and there's understanding there. Maybe a hotline business card that we'll have that even board members could share if individuals have concerns or want more information, just to get out the word, hey, there's a number, there's an email, there's a place you can go if you do have a concern and you want to report and you're just not sure how that will work. So that also, we're looking at maybe doing a survey, sending that out to individuals that we've worked with, get a situational analysis so we can really understand, is the concern with audit, is the concern with monitoring, is there, and we'll talk about some of this tomorrow in the study session, but really honing in on where's the root cause of concerns with audit, or what are we doing well that we can continue to do. So we are in the process of developing this communications plan, policy, and procedure. So if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. Since it's in process right now, if there's any questions, I'm happy to take those.
Okay. Board Member Reby.
So I kind of feel like the website police because I'm always talking about it. My school district that I work in has a translate tool at the top. And I know that it was applauded and people loved it and we had a lot of positive feedback. So I would like that we maybe look into having that same type of tool added to our website. It's been very beneficial to our communities. So I applaud the Access for asking about that and you guys for responding to that so quickly. So that's something that I think would be a great benefit to our website.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well,
Thank you, Director Davis. And anyways, that concludes the audit report for this month. We just didn't have a lot of action for the board, so thank you.
and just for the board's awareness here, as we have the audit report, we'll be inviting Debbie here to answer any questions or better support whatever's in that report to add clarity to everything that's happening in audit. So thank you for being here today. You bet. Board Member Reby.
So I'm seeing also that cactus is on here.
Oh,
And
yes.
What's the plan for that? Because it is really an antiquated tool. Is there any,
Mm-hmm.
where we're going with this? Is there a plan to make it more updated? I mean, I'm reading it, but it doesn't really give me a lot of clarification.
Sure, absolutely. So the audit plan does include that we are currently working on an audit of the Cactus program, or the Cactus. It's data accuracy and reliability. There are system elements that are being worked on by IT and operations, and we're letting them handle that. We're not really getting into the system side of things, but inherent in any system, the data that you put in needs to be accurate so that the outputs, the report, the funding and the calculations is correct. So the audit is really just looking at, is the data accurate? Is the data reliable? And we're really sticking to kind of that narrow focus. It does require us, we're taking a sample of LEAs, so charter schools and districts, to go out and say, how are you putting in this data? What's your process? Is there a way to make that more efficient and effective? If we can take information back to operations and IT that will help them with system development, absolutely we can do that, but that's not necessarily the focus of the audit, just data accuracy and reliability.
So if, as a teacher, I self-audited my own Cactus information and I wanted to have it updated, would I contact my LEA or would I contact the state? Who's putting in that information?
I can't even speak to that right now. I
Oh.
know at districts, at LEAs, there usually is an individual that is assigned as the Cactus. I'm trying to think what the term is. Anyway, they put the information into Cactus, but there are individuals here at the state office that do have a security profile that would let them go in and update information or look at it and make sure that information is correct. So there are things happening at the state level as far as inputting information. There's things happening at the local level, and trying to understand that, make sure there are internal controls in place. Again, some of that is system and IT, so we're not going there a lot, but looking at, is what's being input accurate and reliable? And if not, maybe why? And that gets to the who's inputting it. Does anybody look at that? Should there be someone that looks at it?
So if you have an LEA-specific license, does that person get a Cactus number? And can we monitor them through that Cactus program if it's an LEA-specific license?
I'm getting out of my element.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure,
Oh,
but Travis might.
Thank you,
Right.
thank you.
The superintendent might be able to
Okay,
answer that.
Board Member
Oh, okay.
Lair, did you have,
You know what? I lost my train of thought.
you've been ran over by your own train of thought.
I just
Okay.
had one more thing for Director Davis. Could you give just kind of the general timeline for that Cactus audit, just so that people understand where we are and
Oh, absolutely. So the Cactus audit, we started that back more, I'm trying to think, April, May, we do audit planning. We want to make sure we have an understanding of the system, the regulations, the rules, everything that surrounds that. So we've done a lot of planning. We actually went and attended a Cactus training, so we understand the system and how that's input. That was a great opportunity for my staff to learn. And we're at the point now where we've selected our sample of LEAs that we're going out, and actually my staff yesterday, have been out looking at documentation. We anticipate that will take another month or so, so probably looking at a report maybe August and September. We do have a quality assurance where the supervisor reviews all of the work, I review the work, and then we put a report together. But probably early fall is anticipated right now as far as the Cactus audit.
thank you. Anyway, so,
Well, we
sorry,
have-
were you done?
Yeah, Board Member Laird.
No, I didn't, I was just coming back.
Yeah.
My train of thought returned.
Well,
So, I
After you
just-
got ran over by it,
Right,
you've
after
recovered.
I recovered,
Okay.
miraculous. I just had a question for Director Davis that, from my understanding, there was an appropriation to completely rebuild the Cactus system. And I'm wondering if your work is going to be helpful in terms of that rebuild, or if this is like straightening the deck chairs on the Titanic, and they're going to destroy the Cactus system to save it. So can you speak to that a little bit? Because I don't want it to be wasted effort if this is going to be completely remodeled and revisited.
Absolutely, Member Lear, that's a great question. And we are cognizant of, yes, we're getting a new system, we will build it out. Again, thinking that, well, whatever data is in the system, however that's housed, the old system, the new system, there will be data in that system. And so that's where we want our focus to lie, is on the data that's being input. And so what goes into that, an FTE count, educator information, those kinds of things, we anticipate that would be similar. And so the process to enter that into a system, whatever that system looks like, is more our focus. So we believe there will be benefit. If at any point in time we realize wow, it doesn't look like there would be benefit, we would immediately bring that to the audit committee and then the board and say, maybe we don't pursue the audit at this time. But it looks like, as of right now, there would be benefit. And then, as mentioned, we could take that to IT and system development as we're looking at it and say, hey, this is what we're seeing. You might want to consider that as you're building out the system as well.
Okay, where's that at? You bet.
So if I might just add some lightning to Director Davis's thunder. We have always had these two elements to Cactus, and one being the accuracy of the data from the inputting side. And you'll often hear when somebody will ask Travis Rawlings or Diana Sudreth for information, and prior to that me, we would, excuse me, we would always say the data is only as good as the inputting. So we're always very nervous to just put out these absolutes when it comes to reporting based on data that we have in Cactus. So we've always been concerned about or wondering about how accurate is the data that we're getting. So that will always be an element, and I think getting into that a little bit to check for accuracy will be really helpful to us. The IT build-out is ongoing, and I love that we have an IT team on board that's really looking at how to move into the future, whether it's through a software solution or a rebuild, but getting something that's, to your point, remember, Reby, much more user-friendly, because we did have this premier system for many years that everybody was looking at, and we just sort of keep adding on to it, sort of like some of our schools that we keep adding modules onto to where it's not usable anymore. So both will continue to be important. So it's a great question.
Okay. Board Member Reby.
Thank you for working on this. As a teacher whose whole livelihood as a teacher is tied to my Cactus number, and as a person who works with people in the schools, when they have two Cactus numbers, it is a nightmare. And so it really is, for people that aren't working with Cactus, it's really an important tool that we all use as teachers with our licensing and our credentials and the years that we've worked. And it has a really strong component to our profession. So I appreciate you looking at this and trying to make it better. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Chair Ellis, do you have any concluding?
Yes, I just wanted to thank Director Davis for coming to the table to answer questions, and any comments that you guys have in regards to how we can better communicate the function of audit. Often it is looked at as a negative when really it can be a great tool for improvement, so we can see our weaknesses and areas to improve. And I just wanted to thank Director Davis and her team for their professional work in this area. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ellis.